There is no current peer in the National Football League for Patrick Mahomes' greatness.
Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady has done it great.
Another all-time great.
Before turning 29, Patrick Mahomes has already secured his third Super Bowl and third Super Bowl MVP. He has established himself as one of the best quarterbacks ever and a future first-ballot Hall of Famer. Some people even consider him the greatest quarterback ever, and they may have a point. In this video, I'm going to evaluate Mahomes against some other first-ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks from the past, present, and future to see how he compares. This is just a fun little activity I came up with, so I hope you like it. First up, Mahomes versus Brett Favre. Favre was the Mahomes of the 90s, with his wild and reckless style. Favre famously won 3 consecutive MVPs in the mid to late 90s. He also won a Super Bowl and reached another one, but lost his second attempt in 1997. Even though he played for 13 more seasons, he never returned to the big game. He also never earned a Super Bowl MVP. Entering Super Bowl 32, Brett Favre was only an hour away from his second Super Bowl victory and a 10-3 playoff record. But he lost that game and ended up with a mediocre 13-11 playoff record. That means he went 4-8 in his last 12 playoff games, and he was largely responsible for those losses, as he was notorious for his awful crunch time interceptions, throwing 6 interceptions in a game, throwing 4 interceptions in the first half. Favre's career was amazing, especially the first half, and he was on a possible GOAT path. But Mike Holmgren departed after 1998, and so did Favre's consistency. He had a few great years sprinkled in, 2001, 2004, 2007, and 2009. But he was never as consistent or good after Holmgren as he was with Holmgren. Therefore, the clear choice is that Mahomes is the superior quarterback. Next, we have Mahomes versus Dan Marino. The big knock on Dan is that he never won a Super Bowl, and he only made one, as shown by his 8-10 career playoff record, 0-1 Super Bowl record. He obviously never won a Super Bowl MVP. He did win an MVP, and his 1984 season, in my view, is still better, and his numbers for his era were still remarkable, even though he declined a bit starting in year 6. As much as I admire Marino and his highlights, all the tight window throws he made, and how entertaining he was to watch, there's really no debate here. Mahomes is better. Mahomes has won more, and he does just as many things with flair as Marino did. Although I would say Marino is still a better tight window thrower than Mahomes is. Mahomes versus John Elway. If you ask anyone over the age of 45, they absolutely insist that John Elway is the greatest quarterback of all time. Unfortunately for those people, stats do exist, and video does exist of John Elway's career. Elway's numbers are unbelievably average, especially compared to Patrick Mahomes. He won an MVP in 1987. He has a 14-7 playoff record. He did make 5 Super Bowls, which is one more than Mahomes. But, as you all know, he got crushed in his first 3 before winning his last 2, mostly thanks to Terrell Davis. But he did manage to get a Super Bowl MVP in his final career game. While Elway might be the only guy on this list with the physical talent to match up to Mahomes, the difference in stats, even adjusting for the era, are just too much to overlook. Mahomes wins this one pretty easily. You want to talk about a guy who played a lot and put up huge individual counting stats with great efficiency, you get to Drew Brees. Unfortunately for Drew, he does have the individual numbers and the longevity to make Mahomes sweat. Although he never won an MVP in the regular season, which is basically just bad luck, Brees had a 9-9 playoff record, which is misleading. He was a better playoff quarterback than that. He did win the Super Bowl famously in 2009, and he did have the Super Bowl MVP. But his playoff success is already being overshadowed by Patrick Mahomes. And Brees, honestly, even despite his terrible defenses, he's had too many seasons where he missed the playoffs. He also was prone to more interceptions. But overall, Brees, I do think if you want to talk about a truly unlucky quarterback, he would be the guy. But still, even if you include the unlucky plays that have gone against him, I think Mahomes is a better quarterback because he can do more. Now we get to Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. Now, this one really hurts my feelings because for so many years, I was on the Rodgers GOAT train, and then Mahomes started to come along. And it's interesting because Rodgers actually has a better career passer rating and a comparable adjusted net yards per attempt and more MVPs than Mahomes does in the regular season. So, regular season-wise, you can still argue that Aaron Rodgers might actually be better than Mahomes all time. But again, it's those pesky little playoffs, much like with Rodgers' predecessor in Green Bay, Brett Favre, that really drag him down and prevent him from being any higher in the GOAT conversation. It looked as though early in his career, Rodgers was going to have the career Mahomes is having, as he won his first and only Super Bowl appearance in 2010, when he was just 27 years old in his third year as a starter. He won Super Bowl MVP with some incredible throws. But as it stands, his playoff record is just a mediocre 11-10, and now Rodgers isn't to blame, of course, for all those losses. But there were plenty of losses where he could have played better, and Mahomes has simply been a more consistent postseason quarterback, especially in the clutch with a chance to win the game. Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. This one's unique because we all witnessed Mahomes and Brady compete against each other twice in the postseason, and on both occasions, Brady emerged as the winner thanks to defense. They also had some overlap. Brady's last 5 seasons matched with Mahomes' first 5 seasons. Mahomes does have better raw numbers in the regular season, as you would expect. Brady does have 1 more MVP, 3 to Mahomes' 2. But there's no reason to believe that if Mahomes plays another 12 to 15 years, he won't collect a few more to end up with more than Brady. What this all boils down to is projection. Mahomes, 15-3 playoff record. Brady, 35-13 playoff record. As we all know, Brady won 7 Super Bowls, and he appeared in 10 Super Bowls. He won 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Mahomes still needs 4 more rings and 2 more Super Bowl MVPs, as well as 20 more playoff wins to reach where Brady was. Now, I will admit that if Mahomes and Brady were to both somehow end up with 7 rings, we all know the narrative and talking point would be that, well, when they faced each other in the Super Bowl, Brady won, so that gives him the edge. So in a way, I do kind of think that if Mahomes really wants to be regarded as the undisputed GOAT by the time he's done playing, he'll have to win 8 rings instead of 7. At this moment in time, I would have to say that Tom Brady is higher than Patrick Mahomes on the all-time quarterback list, just because of the sheer magnitude of his achievements. But I do feel like as each year goes by, Mahomes keeps getting closer and closer, and through 6 seasons, he already outperforms Brady's first 6 seasons by a lot. So if you can see why Brady fans are getting anxious, there's a valid reason for it, because Mahomes is coming. And he is legit. But as for right now, the answer is still going to Brady as the top quarterback of all time. Smash that like button, hit sub, and catch you next time.